Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Kanisha Tyler, aka Sarathea I Am. And on this feed, I'm going to give you some points to look up, right? Some things to look up and do your own study. You can, so that way you're not just believing what I say. Okay. Okay. So let's start here. What you're seeing now come to the forefront are your your so-called Moseses in the dynamic of Moses and Pharaoh. Okay? But because we are in white supremacy, satanic worship, your Greeks, your Romans, right? You're going to see your Sauls, S-A-U-L, who are the co-rulers of white supremacy and satanic worship. If you read in the book of Matthew, right? You have to read in the book of Matthew about the Savior, and you have to know what they're talking about when they talk about this Messiah. Okay? A little background is there's what they call, they call it the Gayes Ethiopian book, Bible. It's not coincident that the book has gay in it, right? So, when you look in Matthew, and we're talking about Mary, and we find out she's pregnant by the spirit is what they say. Go do the research. You're going to find out that Mary was put in the character Mary was put in the same position as most queens and royal people of in Queen Elizabeth, all these people that they put on high pedestals. Okay. She had a duty to marry into certain places for the sake of the kingdom. Okay. So she was at one, she left, and went back to another. And it created tension between the kingdoms. The Bible talks about how we were given an image of a Messiah, which is not written from the ancient text. It's not the image that we're given is not the same image from the ancient Ethiopian text, I guess. But we were given them because if you find it in the biblical text where they said, well, let's give them someone of their skin complexion, right? And so what they did was, apart from the original thought of what God had said, or the ancestral spirituality, or what was documented, they gave to us a ruler out from the peoples of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? This is how you get your homosexuals, transgender, your LGBTQ. Shoot, I never remember them letters. X, Y, Z, them, they, that, and, if, or, but. All of them who come up swiftly in the place of position over mass amounts of people. They take on the position of gangs or gangsters. They take on the position of women, attempting to be women. They take on all these different positions because in another feed I talk about what the rainbow represents. Okay? Just imagine when all those people were flooded out and their souls were collected up in the realm. the sky of the sky, those are all the souls, okay? And they was going to come down again. That's how it was made to be the reminder to the people that when the rain fell and the thunder rumbled, it was God saying, this is what was created when I took all of y'all out, right? So, with that said, this Messiah that is supposed to return, right? They still have not properly positioned the rightful Messiah. People are talking on slowly coming into accepting the fact that melanin is the chosen of God, right? But God respects his word. So if it's not the original command or the setup or the original thought, God is going to always want to revert to the original thought, not what white man has said. And you see a lot of these transgender LGBTQ folks who are in position take on this attitude as if we're supposed to bow down to them, when they fail to recognize that their position is still given them under white supremacy, satanic worship. Okay? So we cannot bow down to you having the melanin and all, and claiming to be the umbrella over all, calling yourself the rainbow, right? And you're still, your authority and your rulership is given under the kingdom of satanic worship and white supremacy, right? The umbrella that you're under is just like the I'm my grant. You granted yourself right under white supremacy. Okay, so they may have given you a high level of leniency where you feel like now you control and operate and will unalive and harass single women's children and murder them and, you know, all these things, and then hide yourself or not hide yourself because you operate in these businesses of authority and position, but disillusion yourself to feel like you have the final word and the final say. You know, I had to have this conversation on spiritually what is going on of the mental of these type of people. Okay? And they've just created, if they're not the originators of Sodom, from Sodom and Gomorrah, or the energy of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was an energy made, right? And you have to understand what they recorded in Greek culture, Roman culture, and white supremacy, that talks about how that behavior is made and created and passed on through generations, right? It's no different than me talking about what flows through the bloodline of those followers of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. Is an energy created, and they say their science tells you that energy doesn't die. And so the ones that are saying that they were born this way, it is possible that it is a gene that, or an energy that has laid dormant or has been passed through from generation to generation, right? From age to age. And they talk about how I was watching this documentary about how the Nephilim, or these giants, returned after God had flooded the earth. And they broke down how it was the sin or the gene was still held within the chosen people from Noah's family, where they said Noah was blameless, but he had wives and children and their wives. So someone still had that gene in them that recoiled into play the sin that had been planted before the flood, right? Then you have to know where they said take in the clean animals and the unclean animals. You take in the fact that the serpent came to or approached a woman, a female. So we don't know, when you're in close proximity with these kind of animals and were they eating them, how did there's a whole bunch of scenarios of how it entered into, or they came back into play. But the point of this feed is that you claiming to have this energy that is clearly against natural way of being or natural way of life, and claiming that you was like that from birth and God made you that way, is just, it don't flow well. It more flows that something happened, something was done that was not supposed to be done in your youth or upon your ancestors, that was moving that spirit from generation to generation in your bloodline. And the issue here is that you've taken on being more pleasured by the comfort of them mistreating you, opposed to you looking to recorrect and do away with that energy. You just continue to feed it because they've positioned you to a place of Saul. If you're tall and you got long locks and thick hair, you're idolized as someone who could sit in the position of Saul from their Greek and Roman book. Okay? Now, I couldn't tell you what you would have to do to show them or prove to them your loyalty to white supremacy, satanic worship, but I would guess that it has something to do with homosexuality, because they do not want the seed of David to rule or to sit on the throne. So you got to go and study this book of Matthew. I find it's astonishing how they're telling you exactly what they've done to us, how they've mistreated us. And folks still want to hear no evil, see no evil, or speak no evil. Right? When you have to recognize you speaking the truth that has been made into evil, right? Or you've been given an evil truth, you got to rightly divide the word. That's separating the wheat from the tare. So on that note, I hope you all enjoy your day. I hope you go and study and read up on what this is really about. And these individuals who want to come around my children, my boys, my young boys, me, and give off this gangster, be afraid of me type energetic field. I can't be afraid of the fact that you were violated perhaps in your youth, right? You're operating in the spirit close resembling the legion, right? And I don't not taking into account that you may act just as deranged or like the little boy who said when the spirit was coming out of them would throw him into the fire, right? It doesn't feel good to have to be told the truth of a horrible reality. However, if we continue to buckle at what you want because you want to continue to feel good in deception and delusion, no one never heals, right? You continue the snowball of mental leprosy and sickness, because in order to keep your position and authority and reign going, you have to have followers. And in order to gain followers, you're going after our young boys and our young children, trying to turn them out in a way, passing on the same sickness of sexual violating and Sodom and Gomorrah. It's no different than the showing up of Sodom and Gomorrah, just like the showing up of these Nephilim or giants or whatever that were taken away from the first initial flood. And we will not have it, no. Okay? So please, stop targeting my boys having an issue with me for speaking the truth. Stop targeting me and people, my family, having an issue with God, right? And stop targeting God for having an issue with white supremacy, satanic worship, who has violated you. And now you're wanting to attack the people attempting to heal you and make you whole again, because you've become complacent and found pleasure in having been violated. That's mental sickness. That's mental leprosy to me. Okay? I don't want someone to violate me and mistreat me and throw me all out of whack from my youth, and then I turn around and fight harder for them because you actually experienced pleasure from the natural act of having pleasure from sexual things. That's God-given, right? The violation isn't. So you got to realign yourself with what is right. So on that note, I hope y'all enjoy your day. And God forbid anyone target any more of my boys or my daughters or me. Because we got to speak the truth. Right? You didn't ask to be violated. I didn't ask to be chosen by God to speak the truth. I didn't ask to be violated, but here we are. It's just a matter of what you choose to do with your violation. If they put you on a pedestal because of it, that's your reality. That isn't mine. I'm still being attacked and targeted and violated. They're trying to violate my children, and now you're just being a help to them do those things. Stop coming around here with that. On that note, I hope you all enjoy your day. Talk to you soon.